All right, everybody, welcome back. So, now that we have our template set up and we have everything ready to rock and roll, let's go ahead and build our first labyrinth. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and switch back over to the actual useful shit. So what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be navigating to the labyrinth defs, and we're going to look at the template for the labyrinth def. So let's go ahead and open this in Notepad++. Boom. Right over here. So if you'll notice, once again, you'll see that everything has been swapped out with square brackets. Inside the square brackets, it's going to be the data type of the thing, well, basically that each field is looking for. So I'm assuming that y'all know enough about data types to know what goes in here. Basically, like strings or words, integers or whole numbers. The only really confusing one are going to be the int vec3s, which are basically just coordinates. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So this is going to be our labyrinth for the template of doom. So we're going to go ahead and call this the... Actually, let's go ahead and make a little shorthand. So let's call it TOD, template of doom, underscore labyrinth A. The idea here is that, of course, you want it to be unique. Nobody ever sees this, so you can make it kind of coded. Now, the label is what people are going to see, even though I guess nobody even sees this label, but I'm still going to call it the template of doom. Okay, so now we're going to go through and we're going to set all of these values, and I'm going to kind of walk you through what each value means. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I made an entire 30-minute video about that before. So as I go through, I'm just going to kind of give you the quick and dirty. Path width is how the dungeon scales. This time we're going to go for kind of a small one with a path width of 2. For the map size, generally what you want to do is kind of keep it lower is better for performance. Oh, side note, you want your Y value for the map to be 1, not 0. Believe it or not, there is a Y dimension in this game, and it needs to have some Y dimension for everything to exist. And if you set that to 0, you're going to have a bad time. So what you want to do, though, is keep your map sizes usually between, I mean, obviously you can go up higher, but you have to understand the larger the map size and also the smaller the path width, it's going to exponentially increase the load time that it takes to generate these dungeons. So I've had it before where I have had a 400 by 400 take me, I think it was around 20 minutes or so to make the map. So it's something that you want to just kind of take cautiously, because people bug out and think that their computers are about to blow up. Alright, so for the world object, we haven't made this yet, but we're going to. So let's go ahead and fill in a name right now. So we're going to call this TOD underscore world object for Temple of Doom. Alright, so is linked Boolean, of course, means that if it's true or false. We are going to link this temple, we're just not going to link it right now. We're not going to link it right now so we don't end up with errors later on. For the target biome, this right here does not determine if we use a target biome, it only names it. So what we're going to do is going to put this in the desert. So kind of be like a desert template. You get it? Okay. But the so right here, but once again though, just because I put this here doesn't mean that it's going to shoot for the desert. We do that later on with the key or with the scene part. Alright, so steps away. This is like a rough estimate on how far away it's going to be. Enclosed, this is going to be an open one, so we don't want to wall it all in, so we're going to say false. Alright, so over here is filled, basically adds the room, so we'll say true. Is walled, we're going to say true as well. Adds walls, Is roofed, yes, we want this to be inside. Shell roofed, let me be a little lazy right here, so it's shell roofed. True. Shell floored. True. Cave-like. We're going to say false. Cave-like is a very important bit. In fact, I guess I could probably move that one up top because it affects all the other ones. This is going to be a geometric, so we're not going to make this cave-like. We'll do a cave-like later. Don't worry. Don't you worry. Alright, so we have false for the block floors. It's kind of cringy. I'm going to overhaul that at some point. So is walk in, this determines if we walk into the instance, and this is going to be true. What direction we walk in, we do want to walk in on the Z direction, true. But do we want to walk in on the positive side? False. We do not want to walk in on the positive side, we want to walk in on the bottom, on the south side, the negative side. So walk out, do we want to walk out of this instance? Nope. Do we want to, well, none of this matters. All right. And just put this one to false too. Basically, if it's not walkout, then just, yeah, it doesn't really read these anyway. Okay, so is outdoor. This puts doors at the entrance. Let me put true. You know, I'm not completely satisfied with this thing's functionality. I've been kind of playing around with it a little bit. Due in for an overhaul. Just put it like that. The settings sections. This is for the adventure mode aspect that I added to the maps. Basically, this is how you can do. This is for quality of life or basically adventure enjoyment, so you don't have to worry about most base RimWorld problems. So first off, weather. We're not going to use a set weather, so we're going to say false. String. We'll just delete that. So for all of these, we're going to put down a lot of falses. So what I'm going to do, come down here, Control F, replace, ooh, false, and I'm just going to go through. There we go. Ooh. Alright, so I just went ahead and set all the Boolean values to false. Basically, I just turned off everything, the needs modifiers, the joy modifiers, everything else. Let me go ahead and fill in these things. It will give me an error if I try to run through these square brackets. So for the ticks per turn, ticks are 1/3 of an hour, which is going to be 1/60th of a second. So so what we're going to do is we're going to set it to 600, which will be 10 seconds. The turns won't actually matter since we have adventure mode turned off. I just like to always set it. So this right here is a floating point integer. We're just going to put it as 0. All of these have default values, so you can actually delete them. I'm not a big fan of deleting entire fields like that. I prefer just to zero them out or to blank them out. All right. So use adventure thoughts. We already said false. There we go. Put this one 0, false, false, and party size. So the party size system has been implemented. Basically, this will limit the number of people who can go into the instance if it is not walked into. And so yeah, so this is how you can make sure that people don't just zerg down your instance. I've also implemented the checkpoint system. Checkpoint system will return any party member to the entrance as long as it's not walk-in, right? And basically, if they get downed or dead, then it returns them and it rejuvenates them. I'm going to implement a a resurrection sickness that will kind of keep them out of the game for a little bit. The idea is that you don't want to lose your pawns, you don't want them to die or go down, but at the same time though, you don't want to, so you don't want to have to reload every time someone dies or goes down. So it's basically to make you a little bit, yeah, a little bit easier. Okay, so right here for the walls, we're going to just use walls. For the floors, let's just go ahead and use tiles. Actually, you know what? This is a desert template. So we're going to use sandstone. Door def name. So, I mean, there's only 2 doors in the entire damn game. So door. So we got blocks. So block stuff. Let's make everything out of block sandstone. I think it's actually blocks sandstone. Let me check that real quick. Yeah, so it's blocks sandstone. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so block sandstone. So floor def name. This is going. Floor block def name. So this right here is basically going to be a terrain that they can't walk through. I'm not really going to use it, so let me just go. I mean, I can blank it out. So door stuff, we're going to make it out of steel. This is only going to be the doors at the entrance. Yeah, the door system isn't really that well developed right now. So entrance def name, this we're going to leave blank. This is basically if it wasn't walked in, this is the building that it's going to put at the entrance to indicate that it's the entrance. The exit def name, we are going to use this, but we're not going to use this right now. So I'm just going to set all this to false, and we're going to come back to that later. Use exit basically says that we use the exit. Basically, it's going to put this building at the last node, at the exit. Okay. So encounter defs, we haven't made any encounters yet, so we're just going to go ahead and blank that out. So linked labyrinths, we haven't made any other labyrinths to link yet, so we're going to go ahead and blank that out. Down here for the shapes, so for the shapes, what we're going to do, let's go ahead and make this a rectangle. So the shapes, this is a unique class that I made for putting in basically structures into the game itself. So I have other videos that talk about these more in particular about what they do. I also have some more information about them up here in the header. Oh, that's right. I put the header in the map lot. So see map lot header. Okay, but anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So for point A, so this is going to be a rectangle, and the idea is that it's going to start, it's going to be the bottom left-hand corner is going to be at point A, and then point B is going to define, is going to be the vector defining the length and the width of it. So let's say that for this one, this is a 100 by 100 map. So what we want to do, let's start at 25, 0, 25. So this is going to be at the point 25, 25 on the map, and let's say that we want this to be 50 by 50. So the idea then is that this should go from the 25 to 75 all the way around, right? So it should be a nice centered rectangle. Don't need the other points, so I'm going to delete them. Is negative, we're going to say true. And the idea is that this talks about if it either excludes everything outside the shape or inside the shape. And in this case, it's going to exclude everything outside the shape. So the only thing we'll have is inside of that inner rectangle. Okay, well in this case, it's going to be a square. So right here, our lot list, we haven't made any, so we're going to leave that blank. Okay, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have made our labyrinth def. Save. Bam. Oh, wait, actually, meh. Oh, well. So, I just saved this as the text. So what we're going to do instead is save as an XML. Boom. Okay, so now we have our labyrinth def in place. Let me go ahead and rename it. Instead of template, we'll go ahead and say TOD, Template of Doom, labyrinth def. Okay. And I guess I could do the same thing for all of these. Anyway, okay, so next up, what we're going to do real quick before I end this video is I want to go ahead and show you how to set up the world object as well. So what we have right here, we're going to go down to our template, to world objects, and let's go ahead and open this with Notepad++. And what do we have is our, basically just the world. Now, I left a lot of these fields filled in. Basically, feel free to fill in however you choose. The ones that are most interesting are going to be these. So for this, we name this one Temple of Doom _ world object. And once again, this has to be the same as the thing that we put inside of our labyrinth def. Okay, so for the label, we'll call it the Temple of Doom. This label will be seen. This is going to be visible on the world map whenever the player hovers the object. The description, basically you just want to be able to describe it, so we'll just say the same thing. Except this time I'll put an exclamation mark. So world object class, I'm using mostly map parents. You can use other ones if you want to. Going down, you can also change out the graphics and change all these, but for the most part, this is up to you. The comps, you can put whatever comps you want onto there. I highly recommend keeping the abandoned comp, because otherwise there's no other way to get rid of these maps once they're spawned. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save this as... So let me go ahead and change this. So this is going to be Temple of Doom, World Objects. And this is going to be an XML. So you make sure you save this as an XML file. And bam. You can see that now we have our world objects. Okay, and we're almost ready to start testing this. In fact, I could go ahead and fire up the game right now and go ahead and take a look for my mod. However, actually let me go ahead and just show you the mod in there. However, the mod will be there and technically everything should be set, but we won't have a method of spawning the labyrinth yet. So we're gonna have to go ahead and do that, but that's gonna be for the next time around. But if you want to see your new mod, then you come down here, go down to your template of doom, boom, and here we are. We have our template of doom. I guess I should have called it RimWorld Adventures : template of doom. I'll go ahead and correct that next video. So let's go ahead and end it there, and yeah, like and subscribe.